Just minutes before shots were fired on Saturday night, surveillance video captured this group walking along 17th Street. APD says the young man with the black and gold hoodie is one of the shooters. The teen in all yellow at the bottom right is 12-year-old Zyion Charles, who will soon be gunned down. Walking just feet behind him, APD says, is a second shooter. You see him again on a different camera. Minutes later, APD says 15-year-old Cameron Jackson rolls by on a scooter.
Somebody yells his name. They say, that's Cameron, that's our opposition. That's when shots rang out.
Chaos followed. 17th Street was locked down, but the shooters managed to get over to the Arts Center MARTA station across 85. Cameras picked up the group. You see the suspect in the blue hoodie walking down the stairs, followed by the young man in the yellow and black hoodie. And as they wait for the train,
they also seem to be celebrating, making gestures and talking about the shooting.
All smiles and handshakes, but what you don't see is their buddy Zyion. APD says he was lying along 17th Street taking his last breaths. But his group, who his mom says he snuck out to meet up with, continued on.
During the train ride, they antagonized different customers. They flashed gang signs.
Take one more good look. While APD says this guy is the primary shooter, this teen also opened fire and say they believe the third shooter is among the group.
This is really sad what is going on in the U.S. with these young people and these guns. Trouble. My question is, where are they getting the guns from, number one? Number two, why are you parents not in your children's lives? I'm talking about all over their social media, monitoring what they're listening to, who they're talking to, what are they talking about, where are they going? Why is it this young group of men was able to walk around the city in such a large group and nobody questioned what they were up to? You parents need to do a little bit better job on your children. And why was this 12-year-old boy sneaking out of the house, messing around with some 15 and 16-year-old? And see, now he's dead in a group that he didn't have any business being in the beginning. We need to pray for the children, that they get their stuff together, and pray for these parents that having to go through all of this trauma and drama with these teenagers. This is out of control. And you know, back in the day when I was growing up, my mother and my father would put their foot around your neck, get into all that kind of trouble and shit. Overgrown young men, shooters, little boys. Are you celebrating in jail now? Are you giving each other a dap in jail? Fist bumping? Celebrating? You done messed up your life. You done killed 2 people and injured others. Now all your other friends who was walking the streets with you getting in the shit, they'll be able to look at you and they talking about your ass now, because you locked up. Hopefully you'll set a good example for the other young men that was out there creating havoc in the city, and hopefully they'll get their shit together and do what's right and quit getting into stuff. Take y'all little badasses to school, get your education, and grow up to be something instead of getting in trouble, going to jail, ruining your life, tearing down families. Get yourself together, and y'all parents need to get y'all shit together too. You're lacking on your job with your children. Where they getting the damn guns from? They 15 and 16 years old. They can't be out there buying them by themselves. Where are they getting the money from to even buy it? Do better. Damn. And then for the one that they had to go get out of New York, you parent, whoever you are, the adult that bought the ticket, that tried to smuggle his ass out of Atlanta, you know damn well that you were wrong. You should have turned his little bad ass in, because he's a killer. Shame on you. You need to get your ass together and do better too.
11 Alive's Bobeth Yates has the interview you'll only see on 11 Alive. Bobeth? Well, one of the main concerns is how the situation was handled after the crowd of kids were kicked off Atlantic Station's property, with the shooting happening nearby soon after.
We had to beg for help for hours and it didn't happen.
Zyion Charles is talking about her nephew, Zyion, the 12-year-old who was shot and killed near Atlantic Station over the weekend.
And take some information from her.
Zion's family spoke exclusively to 11 Alive this week as they made funeral arrangements, hoping to prevent another family from dealing with a similar loss.
It hurts to know that my sister tried and lost her child, but she's out even at the time that she's grieving to try to help somebody else. So that's what hurts the most.
I called everybody I could.
2 days after the shooting, Zion's mom, Duricia, appeared at an Atlanta Public Safety Committee meeting where she called on the city to do more to help kids, saying she had asked the police to help her son understand the consequences after he began hanging out with an older crowd and getting into trouble. But the family says the officer told her the offense wasn't serious enough to warrant him being held in custody.
No matter if your mom is calling, crying out to us, we can't help you or her. So for a child that's 12 years old that wants to hear it's okay to do whatever you want to do, to hear that coming from authorities and people that is here to serve and protect us, where would that take you as a child?
The family says Zyion was at a friend's house Saturday night when they decided to join the 400 children gathering at Atlantic Station.
My son got hit by a stray bullet. My son was having a good time in the station. He was not bothering nobody. He was being a child. So now at the time of him being a child, my son get hurt.
The Charles family questioned whether officers should have stayed with a crowd of kids longer as they were escorted off Atlantic Station property to make sure it broke up. And while the police have said they believe people with gang ties were involved in the shooting, the family stresses Zyion was not in a gang himself.
People are grieving. The last thing that they want to hear, not just from social media, but from outlets whenever they turn on the TV, is that their 12-year-old child was gang related because he's a black young male.
Now, because of the shooting, the family is calling for a revaluation of the state-run point system that determines whether a juvenile offender is detained or released. Also, if you'd like to help the family with their funeral arrangements, they have set up a GoFundMe page. Go to our website for those details.
Yeah, we can ask the police for help with if you're a single mother with out of control teenagers. But my question is, where is the father, the uncles, the brothers? Where are they, the grandfathers? Where are all these men that are somewhere within the family that need to step the hell up and be more involved in these young kids' lives? Where are you, men? You are needed. Adult events. On this channel, we bring you the truth. Sometimes the truth is quite ugly, unbearable, and you just don't want to deal with it. But on this channel, you're gonna get it anyway. You are straddled the fence of good versus evil, right versus wrong. And on this channel, we're gonna tell you to do better. Please like, dislike, subscribe, and share the videos. Now let's go.
Police arrested a third suspect in the deadly shooting right near Atlantic Station. The 15-year-old and 12-year-old there were killed. Channel 2's Audrey Washington continues our live Team 2 coverage now from Midtown Atlanta. And Audrey, police say this latest suspect, just 16.
Yeah, 16 years old and from Clayton County, according to police. So that now makes a 15-year-old and two 16-year-olds under arrest and charged with the murder of two young people shot here along the 17th Street Bridge. A third arrest made in the murders of 12-year-old Zyion Charles and 15-year-old Cameron Jackson. Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens, with some of the top police brass at his side, made the announcement Monday evening.
This suspect is a 16-year-old juvenile out of Clayton County.
Police say the teenager will be charged with murder and aggravated assault. Just last week, detectives also arrested a 15-year-old boy and another 16-year-old who they say ran off to New York City. Police believe the shooting started following a large brawl near Atlantic Station last month.
I talked to the parents of 4 different children. None of them knew their kid was at Atlantic Station.
Just sadness, like deep sadness, because seeing it on the news it makes it real.
Wednesday, I spoke with the mother of Cameron Jackson after the announcement of the first 2 arrests. I contacted her Monday night about the 3rd arrest.
Right now, my commitment is to bring awareness that there is a serious issue within our community with gun violence and our young boys.
As for some solutions, ways to cut down on the youth gun violence, Mayor Dickens says he's going beyond the Youth Midnight Basketball Program and the Police Athletic League.
Year of the Youth is occurring next year where all departments, all eyes, all hands are on youth. I'm calling on mentors. I'm calling on people that, we got to train parents how to keep a good eye on your kid.
And the mayor also talked about that proposed curfew that we told you about a couple of weeks ago. He told me that that proposed curfew is still under consideration. He's just looking into ways to accommodate for young people who have to work at night or young people who are involved in sports. But again, he is still looking into the proposed curfew change here in the city of Atlanta. And right now we are live here in Midtown Atlanta. Audrey Washington, WSB.
Teenagers are in jail right now charged with murdering 2 other teens. It's a big break in a case we've been following since it happened a week and a half ago. Atlanta police say the shooting near Atlantic Station was gang-related. Fox 5's Angelique Proctor joins us from the 17th Street Bridge where that shooting happened. Angelique, you spoke with one of the victims' mothers.
That's right. I talked to the mother of 15-year-old Cameron Jackson. She calls these arrests sad because she said they only reiterate the finality of it all, that her son is never coming back.
Again, it's a tragic situation.
Atlanta police arrested 2 teens on Election Day and charged them with murder in the shooting that occurred on 17th Street, just feet away from the popular Atlantic Station. It's where 12-year-old Zyion Charles and 15-year-old Cameron Jackson were murdered. Police say both suspects have opened up.
Again, they were able to say that they were significantly involved. And again, I can't go into a lot of details in what was shared with us.
Police would not release the juveniles' names or talk about a motive, but they have called the shooting that left 2 youth dead and 4 others injured a gang-related shooting. Both suspects are APS students and have been charged with being involved in gang crimes. Cameron Jackson's mother says the arrests are bittersweet.
It's heartbreaking, on both sides, because now we've lost four young boys, so it's heartbreaking.
Police say they are looking into whether an adult aided the 16-year-old in skipping town and ending up in New York. They also make it clear more arrests are expected.
We're going to hold everyone responsible for these deaths. So if it's an adult.
And so, it's heartbreaking because we're losing our community. We're losing our young men.
And Atlanta police told us today that all of the people involved in this heinous crime are, in fact, juveniles. Reporting live from Midtown, Angelique Proctor, Fox 5 News.
The last thing that they should be prepared for is a funeral of their children.
Tonight, we continue to learn more about Saturday's shooting near Atlantic Station. Atlanta police say there were 3 shooters and only 1 intended target, but 6 teens were shot in the crossfire. Atlanta police say the shooters were going after 15-year-old Cameron Jackson. He died from his injuries on Monday. 12-year-old Zyion Charles was also hit by one of the bullets and died on scene. It is heartbreaking, but also alarming. And you're about to see surveillance video showing the shooters who appear to be celebrating and all smiles just minutes after causing pure chaos on Saturday night.
11 Live's Cody Alcorn is live along the 17th Street Bridge. And Cody, it seems like those young people had no remorse at all.
Ron, I'll be honest, to see these young men laughing and carrying on is downright disturbing. You're about to see it. And to know that Zyion was with them. His mom admitted that he snuck out of a friend's house. He came here to the 17th Street Bridge, Atlantic Station. He met up with his buddies, and then this group left this 12-year-old to die. Just minutes before shots were fired on Saturday night, surveillance video captured this group walking along 17th Street. APD says the young man with the black and gold hoodie is one of the shooters. The teen in all yellow at the bottom right is 12-year-old Zyion Charles, who will soon be gunned down. Walking just feet behind him, APD says, is a second shooter. You see him again on a different camera. Minutes later, APD says 15-year-old Cameron Jackson rolls by on a scooter.
Somebody yells his name. They say, that's Cameron, that's our opposition. That's when shots rang out.
Chaos followed. 17th Street was locked down, but the shooters managed to get over to the Arts Center MARTA station across 85. Cameras picked up the group. You see the suspect in the blue hoodie walking down the stairs, followed by the young man in the yellow and black hoodie. And as they wait for the train,
they also seem to be celebrating, making gestures and talking about the shooting.
All smiles and handshakes, but what you don't see is their buddy Zyion. APD says he was lying along 17th Street, taking his last breaths. But his group, who his mom says he snuck out to meet up with, continued on.
During the train ride, they antagonized different customers. They flashed gang signs.
Take one more good look. While APD says this guy is the primary shooter, this teen also opened fire and say they believe the third shooter is among the group. And again, to know the chaos and the fear that these teens put into so many people right here on the 17th Street, and then to watch them act as if nothing happened is alarming. And it really makes you question, is a curfew really going to stop these teens and gangs from committing more violence?
Yeah, that is a really good question there, Cody. I know that you haven't been here that long. However, you always have your ear to the ground, speaking with community members. What are they saying about this shooting? Any planned response?
Well, as you know, they want change. They say it has to happen. They say we are failing these young men and women. In fact, we know there is going to be a Peace in the Streets anti-violence walk right here on 17th Street Friday night. It's expected to start around 7 o'clock. It'll start at Atlantic Station and go down 17th Street. So again, we'll have much more on that at 11alive.com. And of course, we'll be out here Friday night for, again, this Peace in the Streets anti-violence walk scheduled for 7 p.m. here at Atlantic Station, Ron.
Okay, Cody Alcorn for us tonight. By the way, the family of Zyion Charles is speaking exclusively to 11 Alive about what happened that night and the lingering questions they still have. One of the main concerns is how the situation was handled after the crowd of kids was kicked out of Atlantic Station and the shooting that took place shortly thereafter.